You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI Studios in Toronto, Canada.
Hey, Toronto, this is Ed Sheeran.
This is Kelly Clarkson.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
This is Adele.
This is Madonna.
It's Michael Bublé, and you're listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep Show. It's fun. They're amazing.
The Pooja and Gurdeep Show presents.
You're doing it wrong.
Oh, dear.
This one, producer Steph's going to have a real problem with. In fact, I think that Italians everywhere are going to be writing us.
Oh, good. We're offending an entire culture.
Yes, and it's not me who's saying you're doing it wrong. It's physicists who are saying that if you add reserved pasta water to your sauce when you're making cacio e pepe, you're doing it wrong.
Wait, hold on. What's reserved pasta water?
Okay, so when you go to make pasta, any sort of pasta sauce, when you go to make your sauce, you usually reserve a little bit of the starchy pasta water that's left over from your
boiling noodles.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
You put that on the side, and then you add it to your sauce, and it sort of makes it a little bit more silkier, and it allows it to stick to the pasta a little bit better.
Didn't know that.
It's a whole thing. So it's a key to cacio e pepe. And what the physicists are saying is don't do that. Instead, they're saying, and it's a simple recipe, it's just ground pepper and cheese, and then the starchy water. That's how you create the sauce.
A little cacio, a little pepe.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Little cacio.
Try that in Italy. See how it goes.
They're like leaf.
You got to go.
Like the restaurant? They're like, no, the country.
Yes. They're like, we're putting a tariff on you for being here. So this is what they say you have to do. And this is what's blowing my mind. They say that the perfect recipe involves dissolving 5 grams of powdered starch in 50 grams of water, and then using the reserved pasta water as the traditional recipes do. So you do a little bit of that. You heat the mixture gently until it thickens, it turns clear. Then you add water to cool the mixture, and then you add the cheese and the black pepper, and that's how you get the perfect silky sauce. And there are nonnas everywhere right now who are like, excuse me?
Yeah, like if it's not broken, don't fix it. If nonnas have been doing this for hundreds of years, stop adding stuff. The starch is already in the pasta water. Why are you adding stuff?
I mean, the physicists did say that chances are, if you make this dish all the time, and you are probably, your mom, your nonna, whoever's been making this traditional recipe, you know the ratios, you know exactly what to do. You don't need this advice.
You add fake stuff in there. You make the real stuff.
This is for the rest of us.
Yeah, but the rest of us can still do it. It's so easy.
I have a question, a follow-up question. Far be it from me to question a physicist who is inherently intelligent, more intelligent than me. Is it a physicist or a TikTok physicist?
And is the physicist Italian?
No and no.
It's a.
I love that you always question my sources.
This is now turning into a what's bugging stuff.
2 for 1, baby.
From CHFI Studios.
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
The Leafs could have been playing I Knew You Were Trouble about the Panthers walking into Scotiabank Arena.
We should have known.
We knew they were trouble, and they've now proved that they are trouble.
No, but then somehow they convinced us that, you know what, maybe they're beatable. Maybe we can beat them because we did twice.
And now we got bad blood. So we could go fairly far down this road.
We can keep going.
We know the Panthers all too well. All right, so last night was really bad. It was horrible. It's one of those ones you burn the tape. I don't know, you can't really, there's no teachable moments taken from last night's game. It's an atrocity. Maybe you bailed early. Maybe you kept watching. Maybe you've seen the highlights this morning on Sportsnet. So the loss was bad, but then a couple of things happened that I want to get everyone's take on. What do you think about this? It's 2 things, really. There's fans were leaving very early. There were fans that were leaving in the second period. And I mean, you paid for the ticket. That's up to you, I guess, if you want to leave early.
By the second period, at least when I was watching, I think it was like 3-0 at that point.
It got to 4-0, I believe, in the second.
Like you can understand why people are leaving.
I guess, but then there's all the blue-collar Leaf fans at home who can't afford to go to a Leaf game, haven't had the privilege of going to a Leaf game, and you're like, these rich folks are in here and they're just leaving early, these super expensive tickets. There's that, and then also there were at least 2 fans that threw jerseys on the ice, including an Austin Matthews jersey that hit the ice. The players saw it. You can see the players looking over at it. The ref picked it up, skated it off. And I just wonder, do you think the fans are justified in doing that? Or is that a step too far? Is that too disrespectful?
Well, it's also like expensive. Jerseys are not cheap.
No, like you're looking at $250, $300, depending on if it was an official or a replica, whatever. Call it $200 minimum. Plus, you're sitting close enough to throw that jersey. You're not hitting the ice from the nosebleeds. So you're probably sitting in the platinums or the golds, which are costing you at least $1,000 a ticket. Then the jersey, like, listen, it's your money. You can spend your money how you want, but is that too disrespectful? Is that like the equivalent of burning a flag or stepping on a sacred logo? Like, is it okay?
And for anybody who was watching at home, was that the feeling you had? You're like, yeah, well, if I was there, I'd throw my jersey on the ice too. Like maybe you were just like, yes, somebody needs to do it. Somebody needs to send them a message. Or is the feeling, wait a minute, okay, what are we really doing here? Thinking about what kind of message we're sending. Like, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. It's not good sportsmanship. It's none of the positive things that we teach our children.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a very valid point. And I actually don't know where I sit on this because I was so, what's the word? The anger quickly dissipated into sort
Dejected?
of like apathy, dejection, numbness. I don't know that if I was there, I would have been fired up enough to like take my jersey off. I wouldn't do that just because it costs a lot of money. And I can't afford to do that. But I don't necessarily fault the people who did because it's your money and it's your way of showing your protest. You're not getting that jersey back. Maybe you wake up and you regret it this morning. I don't know how I feel about it, but it's a strong sign because the players are seeing it. They may not hear your boos, but they're seeing that jersey hit the ice.
Yeah, and is it one of those things where cooler heads prevail? So maybe, in hindsight, you wish you didn't do it? Is that one of those things where you just need to like sit in it for a little bit? And
maybe when you're at the Leaf store, like, 5 months from now, buying another Austin Matthews jersey, you're like, I kind of wish I didn't throw that one.
Yeah.
I just want to know if you think fans are entitled to do that. You're fans. You're allowed to cheer. You're allowed to boo. You're allowed to show your displeasure because you're paying all that money. Or is it a step too far?
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI.
Were fans entitled to do what they did last night throwing jerseys, or is that a step too far? Beatrice and Allison, what do you think?
No, it's not justified. It's very unrespectful. Any game at all, whatever it is, you know that somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. Mm-hmm. And I think it's very unrespectful. I think the people that were that angry, maybe it goes deeper, where they maybe bet a lot of money and, of course, are losing it. But, no, it was not a nice game, but you shouldn't do that. And that's it brings the players even more down.
Yeah.
Beatrice, appreciate your perspective. Thank you for the call.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Also getting a lot of texts from you at 981-981. You're weighing in. Jessica from Oshawa writing, honestly, I think it's completely justified.
Oh.
It's been 21 years since we made it to the second round. Fans are frustrated, all caps. It's like they just gave up. It seems as though the Leafs have no desire to ever win the cup.
Right. And Jessica, they did make the second round a couple of years ago, but point taken. Yeah, they haven't gotten past the second round in very, very long time, since 2002, I believe. Another text coming in saying, it's justified. Had they played hard and lost, that's acceptable. The effort and body language were terrible pretty early, and that is not acceptable in the playoffs.
Let's get another call here. Cynthia from North York, what do you think?
I think it's downright disrespectful. Yes, it is. I don't care if they paid $1 million for it. When there's a team playing, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Yeah, it's like it's a sportsmanship thing almost,
Yes, you support your team whether they win or whether they lose. That's the way it goes. You're either for them or not for them. Throwing their jersey on the ice or leaving or booing, that's downright disrespectful. That's the way I look on it.
Cynthia, thank you so much for weighing in. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Another text coming here, 981-981. Are the fans justified in throwing their jerseys on the ice? Laura from Brampton says, I understand the frustration and how fans are feeling in the moment, But real talk, those jerseys ain't cheap. I'm not about to throw my money away like that because I'm mad at a bunch of guys who already make more than me. That's good perspective.
Good point. Yes.
We also got a text from Gary. Gary calls all the time, and he brought up a good point because I don't know what actually happened to the jerseys that are thrown on the ice because the fans aren't getting them back.
Right.
But Gary was saying they should go take those expensive jerseys that a lot of people would want to like sick children's hospitals and give them to kids.
Yeah, who would love to have them?
That's a really good point. I would like to know, if anyone's listening who knows what happens to jerseys that are thrown on the ice, maybe you work at Scotiabank, please text us.
Do you think they have like a lost and found equivalent?
I think if you throw
Angry fan department?
Like I know when a player gets a hat trick and you throw your hat on the ice, those you can get back. If you come down after the game, you can actually get those back if you want. A jersey that you're throwing on in frustration, I doubt you can get that back. If you have the answer to that, please tell us. Text us at 98198.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast. The nearly impossible question.
with Pooja and Gurdeep.
Here's your nearly impossible question on a Wednesday morning. 30% of people say they do this right after someone leaves their home.
What do you think it is? Let's go to Debbie in Stony Creek.
I'm going to say clean the washroom.
Oh, clean the washroom after someone leaves your place. What do you think they did in there?
Well, it's just, cleaning germs. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
what
fair.
you normally would do in a bathroom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. Debbie, good guess. Not the right answer.
Thanks. Take care.
You too.
Bronca from Hamilton, what's your guess?
Go to the bathroom.
Go to the bathroom. See, that's kind of where my head went, right?
Like you're holding it the whole time?
Like you're not like consciously holding it. You're like subconsciously holding it, and you don't realize you were holding it until the guest leaves. Then you're like, oh, I got to go.
Yeah. That's
Right?
true. It's true, especially if you're cooking, you're in the kitchen, like you're just busy, you're entertaining, you're doing all the things.
It's like your body just relaxes after someone leaves, right?
Yes, a little bit of a relief.
Yes, Bronca, good guess. Not the right answer.
All right. Have a wonderful day.
You too?
You too.
Hey, John from Mississauga, friend of the show. What's your guess?
I think it's clean the bathroom.
It's a popular guess. I guess a lot of people do this. Do you do this?
Actually, no, but I think there's some people that are really OCD and they don't want other people's germs hanging around.
Yeah. Makes sense.
For sure, there's something to that, John. It's not the right answer, but it's a good guess.
Okay, have a great day, guys.
You too.
You too. Joey from Carlisle, what's your guess?
I'm going to say clean up.
Clean up. Makes sense. Yeah. Clean up the kitchen or wherever you guys were hanging out. Put away the dishes.
Yeah, do all the things. I'm more of a I'll wait till tomorrow morning kind of person after I entertain. But Joey, good guess, not the right answer.
Okay, thanks.
Anthony from Woodbridge, what's your guess?
I'm going to guess lock the doors.
Oh, lock the doors.
In case they come back.
Yeah, just in case. Just turn around.
Lock the doors, turn off the lights, pretend we're not home, even though they just left.
Yeah.
No, you can't sleep over. I don't care what happened with your Uber. No, I'm kidding. Anthony, really good guess, not the right answer.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
have a good
buddy.
day.
You
Bye.
too.
Michelle from Colburn, nice to hear from you. What's your guess?
I have a really childish one first.
Sure.
Fart.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. I didn't want to say it. I'm glad Michelle did. Can I? Is this an overshare? It's not so much after someone leaves the home, but it's like after a first date. You got to. I don't know what it is. After a first date, as soon as you say bye to your date, they step out of the car in front of their place, they leave. As soon as that door shuts, like God forbid they forget. If she forgets her purse in the car and I see her circling back, I am hitting the gas. I'm flooring it. I'm gone. Because if they step back in that car, I am never seeing her again.
Well, my husband might kill me for sharing this, but we had company over not long ago, and he blamed the dog for farting when they were here. And the second they left, he was like, confession, that was me.
Oh my goodness.
That's amazing.
I wish this was the answer.
Wait, my real guess was to text them and thank them for coming over.
Oh,
Okay.
that's so nice.
That's good. I like that you led with fart.
Yeah.
Michelle, neither one is the right answer, but thanks for the call.
You're welcome. Bye.
I learned a lot about you.
Maybe too much.
Maybe too much. Maybe all people who have been on dates can relate to this, and they're like, finally, somebody's saying it out loud.
I don't know if this applies to women or not. I'm not sure.
I'm sure
You
it
two
does.
are oddly silent, so I don't know if you don't want to share, but I know the fellas can relate to that one because I've talked about this with my guy friends, and they're like, yeah, that's the thing.
I hate to break it to you, but we don't actually do
Right.
that.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Never
Flowers.
happens to us.
Mm-hmm. This person, Adria, texting in going, good morning, Pooja and Gurdeep. Gurdeep, LOL, same. As soon as someone leaves, I just let it all out. What a relief. So it's not just guys. I
No.
think. Yeah.
No. I mean, you and Adria.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And now we know.
And everyone else, let's be honest.
30% of people say they do this right after someone leaves their home. What do you think it is? Let's go to Matt in Bradford.
Change out of their clothes.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
good one.
get into your comfy clothes.
Instantly.
Yeah.
You just drop your pants right away, and then they come back because they forgot something. You're like, oops.
Wow, you got comfortable real quick.
You're still in the front hallway.
Do you just have a pair of comfy clothes just like standing by?
Oh, always. Yeah. You got to drop trow immediately.
Coffee, go fetch.
Not good guess, not the right answer.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You too.
Tristan from Burlington, good morning. What's your guess?
Hi there. I would say gossip.
You got it! The answer is to gossip or talk about the people that just left your place.
Tristan, have you done this?
Depends the person.
So it has happened.
Depends on who's visiting. I have done this, but it's not necessarily gossip. It's just that sometimes what happens is my husband is talking with, some of the gentlemen. I'm talking with the women. And then we get together at the end of the night. I'll be like, oh, so we're catching up. Like, what did you guys talk
stories.
about? This is what we talked about.
But why do I feel like your eyes are super wide and popping out of your head the whole time?
'Cause
Like,
they
did
are.
you know that so-and-so did this?
Yes.
And blah, blah, blah.
And you know what I love doing? I love teasing something, which
Of
I'm
course you
actually
do.
giving
Yeah.
the story. So I'll be like, oh, wait until I tell you about Reka.
And then Paul's like, why don't you tell me now? Everyone's left and it's like 1 a.m.
And I'm like, I got to get in my comfy clothes.
Tristan, you nailed it, buddy.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast. The Daily Double.
With Pooja and Gurdeep.
All right, here are 2 stories you need to know. Pooja, what you got?
So we're all trying to support Canadian when it comes to our purchasing power. Well, how about visiting All Things Canadiana at a bar that's completely decked out in all things Canadian, and you can even pay with Canadian Tire money.
You can pay with Canadian Tire money? I
Yes.
used to love Canadian Tire
Who
money.
didn't? The physical one, not on the app,
Yeah, 'cause
right?
I felt like my dad would give it to me as a gift, and I thought I had like real money.
You're like, I'm rich.
Yeah.
You made it rain. You
Well-
jumped in a pile of Canadian
I
Tire.
don't think people knew what making it rain was back in the 80s.
All right, just me. So it's called the Grizzly Bar, and it was formerly a space theme bar that they've now turned into this Canadian theme bar. So they have 1,000 square foot projection screens on the ceilings, and they've now replaced it. Used to be like space themed. Now replaced it with just these breathtaking natural scenes from across Canada. They partnered with SCTV so they can actually play some of those
nice.
shows from the famous sketch show. Also on game days, if there's any Canadian teams that are playing any hockey games, that's what's on the projection
So they'll
screen.
have the Leaf game on tonight?
Yes, they will. And then there's so many little details. So they have vintage hockey skates. They have a holographic grizzly bear in a Canadian flag
As
sweater.
one does.
Dancing. The beer and wine is Canadian. On the food menu, there's poutine, Montreal smoked meat, butter tarts, Nanaimo bars. You can even roast marshmallows over a flame at your table. And the paying with Canadian Tire money, as long as you have enough to cover the price of the entire menu item at a 1-to-1 value, you can use it.
I love that.
Does this not sound like so much fun?
We got to do a night out there. Inquiring minds want to know, where is this?
Oh, so it is at 739 Queen West on the 2nd floor. They also only play Canadian artists as their music. Come on.
You get some hip, you get some Bryan Adams. I mean, the list is long. I love that. I love this story too. If it actually happens, this excites me very much. We may be one step closer to the, you guys remember hearing about the Toronto to Niagara hovercraft? Remember
Yes.
this story pops its head in the news every 6 months or every couple of years. You hear about this and I get so excited. We've been hearing about this for years. It would allow you to get from Toronto to Niagara or vice versa in 30 minutes.
No.
Yeah. How sweet does that sound? So this was supposed to launch in 2023, didn't happen. Then it was supposed to launch this year, didn't happen. But it did take a meaningful step forward recently. So the company that's been looking into this, they're called Hoverlink. They just signed a new 30-year lease agreement to allow it to set up its dock on the Toronto waterfront. That's a big step, right?
Wow.
Why sign a 30-year lease agreement if you're not serious about this? So in Toronto, the access point would be at Billy Bishop Airport, which makes sense, right?
Yes.
The hub in Niagara is said to be shovel ready, like they're ready to build this thing. It's not built yet. So you'd step on a hovercraft. You're in Niagara in 30. This is better for traffic, better for the environment. They say it would hold up to 180 people, and it would operate year-round.
Oh, wow.
Make this happen, right?
That is incredible. You remember you and I went to a wedding in Niagara, and everybody was late?
We were so late.
So late.
Oh, my God. Okay, now before we get too excited, still lots of work to do. In a best-case scenario, this is 2 years away.
Okay.
In a best-case scenario.
2 years will fly by.
Make this happen.
Just like the Eglinton LRT.
Oh,
no, why'd you have to say it?
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Yo, you got a problem? Pooja and Gurdeep will solve it. Advice, baby.
Yeah, free advice, not necessarily good advice.
It's important we qualify that it's free.
If you want advice from us, by the way, text us anytime at 981-981. We're happy to help you out, but this is the best part about giving or putting out a question to us is we can ask you, our listeners, weigh in with their advice. So you get the benefit of all this wisdom.
And just remember, your parents always tell you get what you pay for. This is free advice. I always know it's going to be a spicy question, though, when someone sends it in anonymously because they want no part of it.
Yes, and we encourage you to do that. You don't have to divulge who you are. This is anonymous from Vaughn writing us with this. Dear P&G, am I a bad friend? My husband and I went out for dinner at a restaurant where we are regulars.
Okay.
They didn't have any free tables, so we were waiting to be seated. While we waited, my husband noticed another couple already seated that are mutual friends. We went over to say hello. Then our table was ready, and the waiter asked in front of all of us if we wanted to be seated together.
Oh, no.
My initial response was no, but I was trying to be polite about it. Everyone else thought it was a great idea, but I shut it down.
Wow.
We sat apart, and my husband couldn't understand why I was being a bad friend. But was I? Is it wrong to want alone time with my husband?
Oh, there's a lot here. There's a lot here. First off, my first thought is that's a rookie mistake on the waiter's part.
Yes.
You can't put people, like you're going to hurt your tip right there because you cannot ask that in front of everyone. As you're seating, the couple that's being seated, you say discreetly to them, hey, did you want me to set you up with them? You can't ask in front of everyone.
But it could be because they're regulars. Maybe there's a familiarity there where they felt comfortable.
Okay, that's true. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
But also, she must really have not wanted to dine with these folks if 3 out of 4 people are being like, yeah, let's do it. And you're holding your ground being like, no.
No, what if they also didn't want to, but they were just being polite? Sometimes in those circumstances, there's a lot of pressure and everybody's like, yeah, sure, but nobody really wants to.
So maybe everybody was low-key relieved that they didn't, except the husband. It sounds like the husband was pretty miffed about it.
The husband's like, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to them.
Because I'm thinking about it from the husband's perspective, too. Like, he's probably trying to keep up relationships. So, he's probably thinking, okay, well, now you've made that awkward in front of them. You made it clear you don't want to dine with them. Now they're going to think we don't like them.
Oh, no.
What if the mutual couple is closer to the husband? Now that relationship is damaged. I understand why he would be upset.
But it's not that deep. To me, I rarely get time to be able to go out with my husband for dinner. So when I go out for dinner, this is our time to catch up and connect. I don't want to sit with anybody else. And it's nothing against them. I just plan the night for me and my husband.
Yeah, it's very couple and mood specific. There's certain couples I would want to join in with if I'm feeling in that social mood. But if I just want a low-key night with my partner, I'm with you.
And also, who's paying? Right? Then it gets all complicated with the bill.
I didn't even think of that. Also, what if the timelines don't align? You know what I'm saying? What if the couple you're sitting down with, they're on their amuse-bouche. They're about to move into dessert. You're sitting there ordering a salad. It doesn't line up.
Yes, it's true. And then it holds everything up. I don't know. I'm siding with you, Anonymous. I think if you weren't comfortable and you didn't want to sit together, you did the right thing. You weren't people-pleasing, but you did the right thing.
Yeah, I think I've actually been swayed. I came in going, what are you doing swimming upstream when everyone's saying sit together and you're saying no? But I think you've swayed me. I think it's best to keep these worlds apart, Anonymous.
Okay, well, don't listen to us. What do you think? Who do you side with, Anonymous or her husband?
Amuse-bouche.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI.
So we want to know, who do you side with here, Anonymous or her husband? There's a lot to sort of unpack here. Let's go to Jess and Pickering. What do you think?
I side with Anonymous, and I'll tell you why. I think, they just put him in a very awkward position.
Yep.
And I agree with you, Gurdeep. That waiter just affected his tip. And, it's also an issue of, paying bills. Like, do you split it? It becomes just very awkward for everyone.
The whole thing is awkward. It's just better to opt out and be like, oh, no, we'll see you next time. Or, we got to have you guys over or something like that when it's appropriate.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's just a lot to consider. There's a lot of moving parts. Jeff, thanks for the call, buddy.
No problem. Take care. Have a good one, guys.
You too.
Bye.
You got a lot to say about this at 981-981. Jackie writing us saying, I'm siding with the wife. I would have said, not tonight. Need some hubby time.
And that's kind of your point,
yeah,
right?
Like I'm going out to dinner with my husband so we can catch up and connect. I didn't make it a couple's dinner for a reason.
Yeah, with how busy people are with work and you got kids in the mix and stuff, like connecting one-on-one I think is pretty important. Let's go to Lance in Toronto. Who do you side with here, Anonymous or her husband?
The husband.
Really?
Oh, so you think they should have just sat together?
Yeah, they should have just sat together.
How come?
I had a similar, almost similar situation, where we went to a concert and we saw somebody in line. We're like, hey, let's try to avoid this couple because they're very annoying. But then when we got inside, they had front row seats, and they had extra seats beside them, and we're in the back. So we're like, okay, let's go sit beside them. Let's go say hi because they have good seats. And I said hi, and they said, yeah, come and join us. So.
Okay, so sometimes it can benefit you, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
So you should only do it when it gets you a front row of a concert or like a better seat at a restaurant. Otherwise, stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Okay, we got you, Lance.
We got it. Thanks, Lance.
Okay, bye.
More text coming in at 981-981. Who do you side with? Your Naim texting in saying, if you take your wife out to dinner, you should be with her. Not just there physically, but mentally too. If the other couple is there and they're good friends, maybe they would have asked you to come to the dinner with them, but they didn't. So if you join them, it might be awkward and uncomfortable. The wife's feelings are more important than others.
Good point.
He's got his priorities straight.
Like all of this. I think I understand what Lance was putting down. Like, what if they're like big spenders? And you're like, they'll probably take care of the bill. Oh, they already have a bottle of wine.
But Lance is like tipping the scales in his favor. So if you stand to benefit from this, I admire his honesty.
I mean, there are some people who might be into that.
Lance is like, if this is good for Lance, Lance is doing it.
Well, you know what? If you ever need advice, you know who to come to. Not us. Everyone else, but you can always text us at 981-981.
Apparently Lance is the guy to go for. It's Dear Lance.
Thanks for listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Listen to Pooja and Gurdeep live weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Only on 98.1 CHFI.
Toronto's perfect music mix.